Brothers and sisters, unknown prophet here. Welcome. We'll try again. Have a few system problems here, but hopefully we can get through them. I want to talk about this coronavirus. Oops. Okay. Better sound now. Apologies for that. We're going to try to talk about this coronavirus, try to give you analysis of it, make you understand what's going on with it from a scientific point of view, not a scriptural point of view, but a scientific point of view. Something to look at because you get all these conspiracy theories running around and you hear all these stories and you don't know what to make of it. So I'm going to try to put it in the simplest way possible so you can look at it and do your analysis and come to some kind of understanding of what's going on. From a scriptural point of view, we're on the time of unprecedented trouble. I said we're not going to talk. We're not going to do the analysis from a scriptural point of view. But I want to lay some background here. We're told in the book of Exodus and the Abrahamic covenant that there will be a 400 years enslavement, which began in 1619 to 2019, and then the judgment would take place thereafter, which would be 2020. And nature of the judgment would be a plague, biological warfare, if you will, which will kill, not make sick, but will kill the firstborn. Now you have people say, oh, the firstborn son. It doesn't say that. Transliteral translation, you get the interpretive translation, they add this stuff in and out. Transliteral just takes word, transfer the word, take a word, translate it. The best one that you can get quickly and free is Jehovah's Witness website. You can download a free version of a transliteral version. Okay. It's totally free. So it said it would kill the elderly and not one house would be spared. Now, elderly is just a biblical word of saying, the firstborn, rather. Firstborn is just a biblical way of saying the elderly, because the elderly are the firstborn and oldest. And they're the most infirmed. Right? And so that would take place. That would start this thing off. And then a lot of other events would follow. But when this plague hit, it would kill, right, the elderly or the firstborn, right? It says no household would be spared, right? But it said it would pass over those who were oppressed for 400 years, the seed of Abraham. It said it would pass over them. But it required an act of faith. They had to believe that that would happen. And they had to, in the story, it gives you, they had to put a mark on their door or whatever. But it required an act of faith. They had to believe, you understand, that they would not be affected. But that's pretty much what the mark was, right? To prove, to believe that they would not, they would not be killed by this plague. That's the background. That's where we are. There's other things I don't want, like I said, I don't want to go into a lot of biblical stuff here, right? I just want to lay a background. So this is where we are in time from a biblical point of view, right? So I needed to establish, you understand, the base, the time. Now I want to talk about this virus and try to understand what it is, what it's doing, and see if it has a correlation between what they're telling you it's doing, what it's actually doing, and the idea about it's going to kill the elderly and the most infirmed, right? But pass over the children of, the seed of Abraham. Now, because, I mean, that seems amazing, right? So, and if you want to go from a scripture point of view, I mean, you're not gotta imagine a lot of things, right? Okay, well, this angel, right? And he's going by and he's seeing this blood on the store and he's killing people and invisible. Well, that's not. I mean, that's where people look at it. That's not what's happening. Well, I'm trying to put some, color to this to understand exactly what's going on and why they're saying the things they're saying. And so let's understand this virus and see if any of this makes sense. So bear with me. We might have some technical difficulties. If we do, I'll just stop because I seem to run into them every night. And I've been messing with this thing for over an hour, a couple hours already, trying to get it up to speed. It's like playing the lottery. Okay, brothers, says let's proceed here. Let's see if I get this right now. Okay. Yeah, we have to understand the immune system. Now, the immune system in general, right? Now, I'm talking in general, right? The immune system, if a virus, bacteria, what the immune system is designed to attack it. See, but the thing about it is, the immune system has a rate. So, in other words, for instance, say your immune system can kill 1,250 bacteria per day. Okay, so it has that's how strong it is. So what I put here is, and this is just like I said, this is a graph. This is not exactly the numbers, but the idea is correct. So we're given the 5 different nations that are written, that's specified in the Injil. The original nation, that's the gold one. The African nation, that's the black one. The brown nation, that's the Asian nation. The yellow one is the Oriental nation, and the white one is the Caucasian nation. Now, I put those different numbers. Like I said, again, these are just relative numbers to get you to understand what's going on. So what I'm saying is that the original nation is the healthiest nation on the planet. So say their bodies can kill 150 viruses per day, right? So if they come in contact with 1,250 viruses, they can, they can deal with all 1,250. But the African nation can only handle 1,000 per day. The Asian nation, 250. The Oriental nation, 500. And 200. And the Caucasian nation, 250. So that's the strength. That's the strength of their immune system. See how strong it is. Okay. So the point is I'm saying if the virus, and I'm going to go into the subsequent slides to show this. If the virus, for instance, if you're exposed to 1,250 viruses per day, then for the original people, that's not a problem. They're going to be healthy. They won't even miss a beat. Okay. But the African nation, right? Well, they would have a problem because it might make them a little wheezy or whatever, because they only able to knock out 1,000 of them. That means they got 250 raging around their body. Well, it's not enough to kill them. Maybe enough to give them asthma or something, right? With the Asian nation, right? Well, they might get some really strong sniffles or something, right? And the Oriental nation, right? Well, they might get sick. With the Caucasian nation, it would kill them. See, just kill them, because their body going to have 250. They got 1,000 more raging around their body. They probably just kill them. Hope you understand that concept. So we might come back to it. Let's deal with it. Let's go further. And this is what I was just talking about just now. I was saying, rate, am I going wrong? Am I going backwards and saying, why is this? Okay, we have a problem here. Why is this doing this? Okay, it's okay. One little glitch. Okay, so as we were saying, what if the rate of the virus growth, now the virus is growing, right? So we're talking about per day. So the rate of the virus growth is 250 per day, right? Okay, so in the case of the Caucasians, okay, they can deal with that because their body is able to handle 250 per day. See, for the Orientals, hey, they probably wouldn't even notice it. For the original people, they wouldn't notice it at all. See, because I mean, they can handle 1,250, 250, nothing. Wouldn't even notice it. All of them would be able to survive it. Like the 250 or Caucasian, it wouldn't bother them. It would be enough. Their body could handle it, so they wouldn't see any effects in it either. So we have to go back with this. Somehow this game got messed up. This is why I was talking about how much protection you got per day. Okay, let's go. Okay. So consider if the rate of growth is 500 per day, that's how his virus is growing, right? If the rate of growth is 500 per day, see, because these germs and viruses, they're in the atmosphere, just like the common cold, so-called common cold, they're in the atmosphere. So say 500 per day. Then in the case of occasion, well, that might make them very sick. It attacks the immune system. So they might have the perpetual asthma or something, right? But the Orientals, okay, they can handle it. They're around the edge, but they can handle it. They wouldn't notice it, right? The Asians, right? They wouldn't, probably notice either. You see where I'm going with this? So I'm trying to get you to understand how this works because we're going to get to the real main point in a minute. So what if the rate of growth is 700 per day, 750? Okay, that knocks out the Caucasians. The Orientals, right? They got a problem. They may be getting sick or asthma or perpetual something, some kind of science or something. Where the Asians, okay, they wouldn't notice it. And like I said, the Africans and the original people, they wouldn't notice either at 750 because their bodies can handle more than more than the virus is producing. Okay, let's go. Okay, go a little further. Oops, went the wrong way. Okay. This gets back to the same thing. If the rate of exposure per day, so how much virus are you exposed today? That pretty much is back to what we was. See, we're talking about the growth, right? This how much is the growth of the virus per day. But you say, well, we give an example here. Now, what if the rate of a virus exposure is 300 per day, right? So, give an example. Again, the Caucasians will be compromised by that because they expose 300 per day, but they can only handle 250, right? The Orientals expose 300 a day, but they can handle 500. So they're good, right? And the rest of them are good also. The Caucasians at 3, they can't handle it, so therefore their bodies will be compromised. So now they got 50. So in other words, if their body can handle 250, that means that's 250 that they knocked out, right? But they carry around 250. That means they can expose other people to 50 because they can knock out 250, but the other 50 they can't per day. So if you come in contact with them, right, they can expose you to 50. I hope you understand. I'm trying to put it in very simplistic terms but the idea concept is correct. So that means the rate of transmission per day for the Caucasians is 50. They're going to transmit 50 per day because they can only handle 250, but they exposed to 300. See? So they're exposing everyone that comes in contact with them 50 per day. Okay? I hope you understand that. Okay. So rate of virus protection per day 50. So this is interaction with people, right? So what I'm saying here is, see if I can move this. If it's possible, I can move this out and move this down. Okay, good, great. What I'm saying is, we're talking about context 5 times. Okay, remember I said that the Caucasian people, they're exposing you to 50 per day. So, but if you come in contact with six people, 6 of them per day, right? Okay, that means, that's 300. Because every time you contact one of them, you're picking up 50. See, you've been exposed to 50. So if you have contact with 6 Caucasians in one day, in this example, that means you're exposed to 300, right? Plus the 300 that just normally exposed to, everybody's exposed to, plus your contacts, right? So that'd be 600. Let me say that again. We were saying, let's back up here. Let's just back up here for a minute. I said the exposure was 300. That's a normal exposure, 300 per day. Okay. See, but for Caucasians, they can only have 250, so they got 50 that they exposing everyone to, because their bodies can't handle. So they're walking around and they have 50 they're exposing everyone to. Okay. So now if you come in contact with six of them, that means that's 300 that you picked up, because you're picking up 50 for each one, plus the 300 that's normal. That's 600 altogether. So in the course of a day, and interact with 5 of them, for 6 of them, right? That's now your exposure is 600. Now for the Orientals, that's devastating, because now their bodies can only handle 500, but they're exposed to 600. See, for the Caucasians, oh, that's fatal, because they come in contact with 5 other Caucasians, they're wiped out. The Orientals, if they come in contact with 4 or 5 Caucasians, right? They're going to have excess of 100, which might make them sick. Probably wouldn't kill them, make them sick. But for the Asians, no, they're good. They can handle 750. You understand where I'm going with this? See, it's an interreaction. See, so that's why I say some people carry it, don't have the symptoms, but they carry it. Or they have mild symptoms, but they carry it. And some people, right, they've been exposed, but they ain't carrying anything, right? Because their body, if they're exposed to, like for instance, the Orientals, if they're exposed to 500, but their body so can handle 500, then they have no symptoms of anything, and they're not exposing anybody to anything. But if you check their bodies, they see they were exposed to the coronavirus, exposed to it, but they're not carrying it, they're not exposing anybody to it, and it's not making them sick. See, they're called asymptomatic. So you say, oh, they were exposed, but they're not no symptoms, and they're not spreading it. But then you have those that are spreading it, right? See, and they don't seem to have any symptoms. Like a Caucasian, he may be he's taken, and he may be exposed to 300, right? He can handle 250, but the other 50 is, maybe he might be getting a mild headache, or feel a little weak or something, but it's nothing serious, so he's not paying attention to it. Okay, you follow me? That's where these different categories. Okay, let's go further. Now, again, I'm saying the same thing. Rate of virus protection per day, right? If you contact 5 people, right? Plus 3 on 600 would make the 500, which is the which would make the Orientals a 100-day carrier. So that means they're exposing anybody they come in contact with, they're exposing to 100. See, so every time you come in contact with them, you're picking up 500 viruses. See, so it's adding up per day. You follow me? Okay. I'm just giving examples here. And we're going to talk about a little more. So in this case here, we're saying, okay, if you take if you come in contact with 4 people, 4 Caucasians a day, plus the 300, that's 500, right? So that would make the person, like I said again, the Oriental, asymptomatic. I mean, he has been exposed to it, right? But he's not passing it on, and it's not bothering him. But he says, yeah, he had it. So you got to see it in the system, but the system is handling it. These are different categories. Now let's talk about this for a minute. The reason why this virus is so deadly, because this is the fastest growing virus they've ever come in contact with. And that's the problem. I gave some examples here, right? Small examples. But this thing started out like one virus, 4 months ago, and now it's spread all over the world. This thing is growing like you would. And so in other words, you've been exposed, you understand? It's spread all over the world. It's going fast. So what it was saying is, the idea I was telling you, your immune system can handle so many virus per day. But this thing is, the deadly thing about this is this virus it reproduces or faster than any virus I've ever seen. So it goes further than the average immune system can handle. See? So the Caucasian system cannot handle it. See? The Oriental system have a problem with it. Asian has a problem, not as much. Yeah, but it's going so fast, it's moving so fast, right? Now it's reproducing so fast, but it hasn't got fast enough to compromise our system yet. You see, that's what it means. It'll get them, but it pass over you. See, and the whole thing is about interaction, because if you have it, right, then you can pass on to someone else, right? So it adds up. So in other words, if you're in a situation, remember the people that deal mostly, the people every day that's most contact with these people, that's why they getting it really bad, because remember I said if you come in with contact with 6 people, right, that's 300. If you come in contact with 5 Caucasians, right, that's 50, that's 300. What if you come in contact with 10 or 20 or 30? Look how fast it's building up. That's destroy your immune system. So then you come down with it and you die. You understand? See, I'm trying to show you, explain to you the math, the science behind what's going on, and explain to you so you can understand what's going on. So they can't bamboozle you and make you think that's compromising you. So what's the answer to this thing? Stop contact. Because every time you contact someone, you pick it up. You pick up the excess they have, right? In other words, it's the difference between how much their immune system can handle and how much they're exposed to. See? So their system handles how much they're exposed to. They're not passing anything on. See? But the difference between, so if their system can handle 1,000, but they're exposed to 1,200, right? That means they're going to pass a 200 to everybody they come in contact with per day. So to eliminate that, you stop the contact. See? And so the most compromised, now when each one of these categories, I didn't mention, like the more the elderly you get in these categories, with a shorter number. So even for the original people, right, they got 1250. That's maximum health. Maximum health. Right? But minimum health, if you out there been eating pork and all that kind of stuff, right, it could drop down to 1,000, maybe 900. So you're more vulnerable. See. So in other words, the more healthy you are, that's the bottom line. The less, like I said, children hardly even affects the children. Even the Caucasian children, they seem to be doing well, pretty well against it. So the more healthy you are, right, the more um, safe you are. You understand? That's what it's telling you. I'm trying to give you the math here behind it to show you understand, so you understand what's going on. Because this thing, that's what makes it so deadly, because it multiplies so fast. And because like you get some other virus, right? Okay, they can get a vaccine for it, right? Because the thing is that this vaccine, because okay, when you're exposed to a virus or a bacteria or something, your immune system, where if it's never been exposed to it before, that's the worst situation, because it has to identify it, right? And if this thing is multiplying fast enough before your system identifies and able to attack it, then it's already done its damage, you're gone. Right? That's why they give you vaccines. What vaccines normally do is they give you a little bit of the virus, a little bit, right? A lot of times, they can isolate the virus and kill it, right? See, so in other words, stop its ability to multiply. So your system able to identify it, so it gets a head up. So next time it comes in, it's already done that process. That process already done. It's already identified it. So it don't have to go through the period to try and identify where it is. Right? And then it can attack it, right? And so the battle is that can it destroy? Can it wipe out the? In other words, can it wipe it out the virus? Well, it's a numbers game, right? Okay, your immune system has developed antibodies. Right. So it can develop antibodies with virus faster than the virus or the bacteria is multiplying. That's the bottom line. So it's a numbers game. So hey, can I develop antibodies faster than you can multiply? Because if I then I'll wipe you out before you can do any damage. If I can't, you're gonna wipe me out. You understand? Because I'm gonna knock out. I knock out as many as I can, so I can knock out 100 per day. But you produce 125 per day. Right? So that 25 is what's gonna be getting you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the idea behind it. See, so when you get a vaccine, you eliminate that identification step, because that takes time for it to identify. See, because you want this thing to go into action right away, right? So, like the first time it has to identify it, then go into action. You understand? It has to identify, then develop antibodies. But if you already get a vaccine, it already knows where it is, so it can go into action right away. And that time difference is important, it's crucial. But this virus, the thing, it multiplies so fast that overwhelms just about every immune system. It overwhelms most of them. So they really can't develop a vaccine for this. See, because no matter, even if if you can identify it, your immune system still is not fast enough to keep up with this thing. That's the bottom line. A vaccine will not work for this. They'd have to have some kind of ointment or something you have to constantly drink all the time. See, a vaccine will not work for this, because your immune system is not fast enough. You understand? Yes, to keep up with it. See, at least the Caucasian immune system is not. Ours is. See, but theirs is not. See, but then you still got the problem of exposure. Understand? See, but still ours is. Um, if we spend, we still can have a problem if we deal with them a lot. But we have to deal with them a lot. But if we deal with each other, it's no problem, because we're not passing to each other, because our immune system it can handle, and so you're not carrying any extra, so you're not passing on anything. But if you deal with them, right, on a constant basis, then you can still get it, right? Because remember, if okay, say for use an example here. Okay, we're saying you 1250, right? Okay, so say that, it's 500, right? Okay, at 500, right? Okay, that means if a Caucasian gets it, he can handle 250, so he's passed 250 around if he's not dead. So you come in contact with him. So you come in contact with 10 Caucasians a day in that situation. Well, if you come in contact with 10, right, that's 2,500. That'll knock you out. That'll knock out your immune system because you're going to handle 1250. See, that's why one of the reasons we have to be separated from them, because this virus points that out. See, this virus brings that totally clear. See, the more contact you have with them, the more dangerous it is. See, but if you contact with each other, this will not bother you. And eventually, if we're alone in our own country away, then the virus goes away. Why? Because when you get it, say for instance you got 1250, and your immune system is 1250, right? And so you got exposed to 1000. Okay, you knocked out 1000. You ain't passing on anybody. Everybody else is doing the same thing. So everybody's consumed. The virus is gone because it can't dwell anywhere. Because it come in your system, you kill you. You can't pass on and kill it. Every time so it can't spread. So it dies. See, but it's never going to die in the Caucasian world. It's never going to die. See, not this one. See, because the immune system is compromised. See, but this is greater, and that's something. See, the problem is they developed this thing and it backfired on them. And the reason it backfired on them because they didn't understand the true nature of what they was building, and they do that often. They often do that because if you just in a closed situation, okay, say they got a closed situation, right? And they say, okay, they let the virus out, okay, and the virus, remember, it's cumulative, it builds up, right? Okay, so this thing is spreading, and so it starts out right at 50 a day, right? This immune system can handle it, right? See? And the next person, right, they get it, your system can handle it. See, so that 1 week is 50, the next week is 100, the next week is 150, right? So they think, man, hey, this vaccine is working because they're not passing, because remember, there's no excess. Their body can handle 250. See, but it went from 50 to 75 to 100, and hey, no, it's not spreading around, man. This is working. See, and so they thought they had a vaccine for it. It was under control, right? And then when it got out in nature, this thing spread like it's been spreading, right? And it reached the threshold. In other words, that it overcame it went overwhelmed that threshold. That threshold was 250. When it went above that, and people started getting sick, they realized the vaccine wasn't working, and that's when they panicked because it was already out. It was already loose. See, when you do this control situation, you better understand all the parameters. They didn't. See, they didn't take account that the thing was spreading so fast, and that it would overwhelm your whole immune system. You see, because the idea about this person gets it, right? Let me go back. Let me back up for a minute. See, if they got to 300, right? That's what they missed when they got 300. They're gonna have 250. So that means this person carrying around like 50, so he's past someone else. So now every time you interface with one of these people, you're picking that 50-50. So you interface with 10 people, that you're dead. And they didn't see that part of it. And they start realizing when, the vaccine wasn't working, people were interacting, and then they come to, oh man, then they panicked. All the European countries panicked. China panicked. See, those were the main people that was panicking. Because China and America worked on this project and they knew what was going on. And they said, oh, then they realized what they had done, it was too late. See, that's what's going on. That's why they panicked. Suddenly there's panic. Because they thought, Trump was really cool up to March. He thought they had a vaccine, thought it was cool. Until they understood what's going on. Now they panic. And they don't let them they can't find a cure for this. It's not possible. Because this virus has spread faster than anything they've ever seen before. See? But if we stay here amongst them, right, it's going to get so bad that it overcome us too. So you better wake up, brothers and sisters. See, we're going home. So I hope I understand this. I tried to explain it to you, right? But we're not in danger yet. See, it'll be a while if we're in danger. See, but when they take and release, when they go and start, because they have to start interacting again, you're going to see this thing blow up like you've never seen before. It says every household will be affected. That means millions are going to die. See, because right now, right, they're priming. They don't understand this social distancing and everything, right? Okay, that means they're carrying around, right, and they're at the level that they was when they started this social distancing. So when they start interacting, right, this guy right here that was now it's at 300, but he's got 250. So he's been so every time you pick up 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. See, and no restraints, no social distancing anymore. See? So it don't take long before bam, this place is going to go turn into a meat grinder, and as soon as they do that, you'll see. So I try to explain to you in the most simplest way I can. I hope you understand it. If you see something wrong with what I said, let me know. I don't hear, hey man, well, you're a scientist. If you see something wrong with what I explain here, let me know. See, I try to, I thought about this. How am I explain it where the average person can understand it? See, I think I've achieved that. Now, one more thing here. For you brothers and sisters out there, I told you last year, I told you this was coming. I had the videos to prove it. I told you the only defense you have against this, because it's all about pressure, would be the 5 pillars of Islam. And look what it says there. 5 pillars of Islam is in relation with spiritual and physical health of a Muslim. That means it maximizes your health. That means it maximizes your immune system. Remember they saying the healthier you are, the better you are. This maximizes your immune system. And now I explain it. I explained it in a mathematical way so you understand exactly why these things work, what they're doing. See, if you talk to students, they don't really understand it themselves. This is if Islam is mathematics, mathematics Islam, that means the pillars of Islam must be mathematical pillars. They must be based on mathematical principles, which they are. The 5 fundamental principles of the universe, the 5 fundamental principles of pressure. I'm not going to talk about it here. I have, I'll probably repost my video on it, right? But if you study it and you practice it, the more you practice it, the more you enhance your immune system, right? Because this deals with your spiritual side of you, right? Which people get that wrong with his spiritual side. So I'm not going to go into details there. I'm not talking about any spooky stuff, all that kind of stuff. But for instance, when you understand prayer, when they say prayer is really salat and prayer is 2 different things. But when you practice that, right, that eliminates stress. Stress will kill your immune system. See, charity, being positive but towards other people, right? That enhances your immune system. I'm just talking in general. There's really much deeper than that. Faith, right? When you have confidence that everything is going to be okay, that enhances your immune system. Fasting enhances your immune system. You understand? See? Dealing with other people of like mind, you understand, harmony, that enhances your immune system. I'm giving you this at a very high level here. That's why it says your spiritual and physical health of a Muslim. So when you practice this, that will be your defense against this. I told you that last year before this thing came in. I said, that's what be you. And I explained it to you. I said, these are 5 principles. Is what you would need. That'd be your defense when this year comes in. And I have videos to prove it. And here it is. So, and if you understand what I explained previously, right, then you should understand this. And the bottom line, what this virus is telling Caucasians, right, your only hope is to live Islamic life. That's what it's saying. That's your only hope. You can't be drinking and smoking and free love and all that stuff. You can't do it anymore. And they tell you, right, that the way of life is going to be changed. It'll be fundamentally changing, but they can't tell you that. They can't tell you exactly. But the only hope they have is to live Islamic life. That's the only hope they have. See, being healthy as possible. That's the only hope they have. And it still might not be enough. That's why I told Nicodemus, even that, you do 100% righteousness is still not going to be enough for you. That's why Jesus told them. He says, your righteousness is filthy rags. They're talking about ours, it's talking about theirs. Because no matter what they do, it still might not be enough to handle this pressure they're under. Because they were made in haste, like the Quran says, right? They came into existence, with an expiration date because they couldn't handle with so much pressure. And now they're under pressure, and it's starting to show. Well, it is showing. See, but it's going to crush them to dust, but it's going to transform you into a diamond. When you put coal under enough pressure, it's only two things can happen: they transform to a diamond or crush to dust. That's where we are in time, brothers and sisters. And if you think this time right now you think is bad, stick around, because she has wonders to behold. You're going to see things you never thought you would see. See, when that war breaks out in the Middle East, that's a sign of Son of Heaven, a sign of Son of Man in heaven, a sign of Superman in heaven. When that war breaks out in the East, everything that you know will change. Everything that you know that you thought you knew would change, right? And that will be the end of Farrakhan and his boys. They will be through. When that happens, he's through. That's when you read in Daniel, when thrones are cast down, that means them. In the Ancient of Days did set, that's Suleiman, right? And he cleans the whole house, cleans it out of all the demons. When Jesus came, he separated demons from the man that was possessed by demons, and through the demons, all that's going to happen. See? And you will see all those things come into focus. That war breaks out, it's going to break out any day in the Middle East. Because the whole idea, when I said scripturally in the beginning, the whole idea is this about the Abrahamic covenant, right? And how can we go to the promised land if people live on the promised land? That's why it says Michael and his angels made war with the dragon and his angels. That's Saudi Arabia, false Israel, American Britain. And he threw them out. He threw them out of heaven, threw them out of the Middle East. See, for our return. All this happening, and we're going home. Within 12 months, we're going home. Period. Right? You say, well, I don't go home all that sand. Well, I'm not going to go into all the details about that. But brother and sister, that sand was put there purposely to cover that land, what I'm saying, to cover from all the stuff, that pollution, everything that Yaqub's creation would be doing during 6,000 years. That land is so beautiful underneath. All that sand is going to be blown away, and that topsoil is like measured in yards. And that's what you need. They're so rich that you can hold a seed in your hand, and it probably just grow just being close to the soil. That land is prepared for you. And that's the only land, it's the only pristine land left on the planet, except for what's under the ice of our North and South Pole. It's pristine because it's been covered by sand. They couldn't get to it. See, that sand can be blown away, and that land can be exposed. And it's virgin land. See? When they came over here, there was like a couple of feet of topsoil, right? When the Europeans came over here, remember they started this whole thing with biological weapons, right? That's how they wiped out the indigenous people with so-called common cold and smallpox, because it was millions of them, and they didn't have the numbers to fight them. So as you have done, so it should be done to them. They started this thing with biological weapons, and now they're gonna end it with biological. They're gonna be ended. They're gonna end it. They're gonna be ended with biological weapons. But that's what they use against the original people. I mean, the Native American people, what you want to call them that. So, but when they came over here, this place was pristine, right? And it was like you couldn't, to them it was a Garden of Eden. See? But now the topsoil is measured in like less than inches, I guess. It's really thin. And so they know pretty soon they ain't gonna be able to grow anything. You can't just put something in the ground. It has to be topsoil. It has nutrients and stuff in it. That's why the Irish came over here, because they had a blight in Ireland, because nothing would grow anymore. Because they had, exhausted the land. And now they've pretty much done that here too. And you're gonna feel hunger in a minute. It's on the way. See? But in our land, right, it's pristine. On that sand is pristine. That sand is blown away. See? Like I said, and they're so rich that what I'm understanding from reading scripture, I think an apple probably as big as a pumpkin. See, Could be so rich. That's what you return to, brothers and sisters. And that's why it says, for I says, I have to go and prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. That's what he's doing. So I give you some idea what's going on. But I want you to understand this virus. So you can get away from all these conspiracy theories, all this stuff. See, they know what they're talking about. Maximize your immune system. Maximize your, get out there and do some exercise. Right? Follow 5 principles of Islam, 5 pillars of Islam. The more the better. Right? Get how to live. Right? All this was prepared for you, brothers and sisters. See? And don't listen to that lying Farrakhan. He's Aaron. Right? He's working for them. See? Just ignore him because he's irrelevant. He's history. Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope you understand. Hope the sound, everything came through okay. I'm getting ready to find out. So hope everything came through okay. And you know, next year, as they say, in the promised land, that's us, not them. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.